morning, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another episode of the Younib Breakfast Show. I hope you guys have woken up well and are excited to face your day. For me, I am really, really excited to be able to even give you this show today and to tackle the conversation at hand. Remember, you can always send in your morning affirmations. We say here that your morning affirmations will give you positivity throughout the day. So you can always interact with us or send in your affirmations through the number 0719 144 144. That's on WhatsApp, or you can also SMS it. Also, you can speak to us via Facebook, which is Younib Media TV, and also on Instagram, Younib_TV. As it is the norm here at the Younib Breakfast Show, let's go straight to the morning bite of the day. Our conversation for today is on importance of mental health, on peer support in schools, and that is what we'll be discussing today. As you can see, guys, we are our therapists, our home psychologists are here today to help us be able to tackle this question at hand, or the topic at hand. I know they don't need any introduction, but I'll just go ahead and introduce them. To my extreme left, we have Mtembei Muthami. We also have Beula Njagi, and we have Valentine, Ndiwa, and they're here to also help us tackle the conversation at hand, right? So before I even introduce or tell them to introduce the topic, they have been doing quite a good job out there, and I want us to first see this clip so that we can come back with them telling us what it was all about.
First step of addressing any issue is creating awareness about that issue. We want all of us to understand what mental health is all about, and we want all of us to know how do we cope.
Ngapi wetu tushaisikia the word psychosocial, and so we all understand what psychology is at this point. Yeah? Tumeweza kuweka psychology kando na social kando, si ndio? So tukizileta pamoja, what do we understand by the word psychosocial?
So the activities that we know they are harmful to us, but tutapata anasonga tu nazo, si ndio? Yeah. There is decreased academic performance. This one is usually actually one of the first signs when a student is not okay. True or not, teachers? True, yeah. So you know them at a certain level, unapata inaenda ikipungua. Yeah.
So Valentine and Beula and Mtembei, what have we gotten to watch? Tuanze na Valentine.
Okay, I will say to our viewers, what you've got to watch is just a short clip of some of the activities that we have been doing. And the activity is meant to cement the psycho-education sessions that we've been carrying or conducting in 10 schools within the Njiru community. And our farthest school so far has been in Kayole. So we decided that since maybe we may not be there for a long period of time to handle some of the psychological concerns of the students, we decided that we need to train some of the students so that when they are in their schools, they are able to, if they are able to notice the other students experiencing mental health challenges, they are able to address. And if they are not addressed, they have the correct referral system, so that this child or this student who is going through psychological challenge is able to receive the necessary treatment that they require. And you'll be able to see some of the things that we were able to do. Like, let me speak for the issues that I was able to teach the students. I taught them on the importance of them promoting mental well-being among themselves, and part of it was to reduce cases of anxiety. You find that many people, especially in our generation, usually suffer from a lot of anxiety, and this anxiety is mostly because most of us are anxious about our future. And when it comes to the academics, there are some who are anxious about their performance. So you might find that a student is going through an anxiety and therefore is not able to perform very well, because the majority of his time was spent in that state of worry, other than sitting down and concentrating on their books, reading and getting to understand. So remember also, you cannot be in a position to understand the concept that is being taught if your body is not at a relaxed state. And that's why we were teaching them about the importance of maintaining their mental well-being. And as you guys have been seeing, mental health challenges have been on increase. I'm sure you know at least one or two persons who is struggling with the mental health challenge. Maybe it's a friend, or it's a family member, or it's a neighbor. So the reason why we are doing this is just to promote the mental well-being of the students.
Okay, Beula, what were you teaching the kids that day?
Thank you so much, Peninah. This was an exciting day because we were teaching the children how to be able to be support to one another. And it's one of the things that we pride ourselves in as PSC, where it's actually in the name Psychosocial Support Center. So we really try to, we work on the philosophy that everyone has the resources that they need within them or in their community to be able to resolve their issues. So what we were doing with the children that day, as Valentine has said, it was a culmination of the sessions that we had been having with them in their separate schools. So now we brought them all together to, first of all, show them that they do have a community amongst each other. And then just reiterating on, what we had been teaching them about, the importance of their mental health and why it's important that they take care of it as early as now, that it's never too late. And so with that, it was empowering them with the skills of, identifying how do they know themselves or their friends, because we're teaching them to be support, have mental health challenges or problems. What are the coping skills that they can rely on or that they can encourage their friends to rely on when they are experiencing these mental health problems? And then what are some of those basic skills that they can use to sit with that friend and allow that friend to, be able to talk without feeling like they have to carry on that entire burden of what the friend is going through, and without also making their friend feel like they've not been heard. Those situations where you want to share something with someone, like you come and you tell me how today you're not feeling very well, and I tell you, Ata mimi, kwanza mimi, and at the end of the day, you don't feel like I've heard you. Yeah. I also don't feel like I've been heard, because now you'll also come back to yourself, and then it will be now everyone trying to push or to pull the conversation to the end. So how can they just sit with each other, be able to listen, be able to help each other to the best that they can?
So Mtembei, what were you teaching the children that day?
As my colleagues have well put it, that day was initially the plan was to make sure that we bring the students together to show them that they have the skills. We have already equipped them with the skills to deal with whatever mental health issue that they may be facing. This means identifying when somebody is in distress, and then from then on, after identifying, they can be able to better listen to them, so that they can be able to identify mental health challenges that their students may be going through. This can include truancy, it can be poor performance in class, it can be lack of concentration. Just getting to understand and to see the patterns that their fellow students have been going. Essentially, the main purpose of us going there, us bringing the children together, is to make sure that whenever we are not around, because we are not always going to be at the schools, right?
Yeah.
That means that as parting shot, once we are done with the sessions at the schools, we are going to leave them with a support system that they can be able to run for help, that they can be able to share their emotions, share their feelings, whatever it is that may be bothering them. And then if the issues are way too large for them, that is when they can involve the guidance and counseling teachers. If there needs to be any legal repercussions and anything that an adult has to chip in, we also had the teachers on board, and we equipped them with the skills, the necessary skills to listen to their students without having to judge them, without judging them, by giving them a safe space that they can be able to talk about anything that they feel like is weighing heavy on their chest. And if ikishindikana kabisa, there is also a support system that includes the hospitals, it includes wellness centers, it includes community health workers, and anybody who has the capacity to help in terms of emotional turmoil.
Awesome. I think you guys are really doing quite a good job, because some people back in primary, personally, singesema tulikuwa na peer-to-peer counseling that I saw when we were in high school, and having to do this to even the students, young students, them growing up knowing that I can also listen to somebody else, and I can also help somebody else who is going through something. At least you guys are doing quite a good job. And also we saw the children very excited to also learn, so it means that you guys were actually good teachers, and you gave them quite good support so that they can be able to help each other in their place of need, right? So as we think about this and what we are doing to teach our own students in school, and also as parents also to teach our own children at home, what about them listening to other people, about them also caring about their neighbor, I want us to take this short break, and we'll be back with more. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Peninah Wachera, and today we're speaking about the importance of mental health peer support in school. And before the break, we've been seeing what our psychologists have been doing to our community, to the students out there, kuwafunza about peer-to-peer counseling, right? So remember, this show is probably brought to you by Younib organization, as well as Miss Ashan, and we're trying to reach out to the community and ensure that all of you guys are well informed when it comes to matters mental health. So coming to the conversation, I want us to start on a light note. Tumesema kuhusu peer to peer to peer, and we've had peer. Some of us maybe cannot know really what peer counseling is all about. So let's go there. Valentine, please explain to us what peer counseling is all about.
Okay, so when you talk about peer are people who are closely related to each other in terms of their age, but it doesn't mean that you are exactly the same age. It may be if you are between 1 to 5, 1 to 3, you are kind of closely related, so that means you are peer. Now when it comes to us talking about the peer counseling, it's about people who are closely related to each other, offering that counseling to each other. And this is very essential because there are those people who, if they come to us for session, they will usually prefer to have maybe a young counselor like us or an older counselor, like the one who doesn't have the same age as us, or either it could be a male or a female. So peer counseling is very important, and even that is why when we were doing this program, we chose young people because we didn't want the children to feel, let me not use children, we didn't want the students to feel that an older counselor is coming in. So if the older counselor was being brought in to do the program, they might have felt like maybe their parent is coming in, and that would make the students to block from sharing some of their concerns. But if they see young person like the way they used to see us, you find that they are very open and very accommodative, and they felt like very safe with us because we were young. So peer counseling is that counseling that is usually offered to people who are closely related to each other in terms of their ages. Yeah.
Okay. So how does mental health support for peers, or peer support, let me say that, really differ from any other activity or support groups in school?
Right. So the very first thing is what Valentine has described, that it's for each other by each other. So it differs from other forms of support whereby you'd imagine when a child is in trouble, they need to run to the teacher or run to the parent.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a good thing. We encourage them to be as open and as free with the safe adults in their lives. But sometimes we do acknowledge it's easier to talk to your friend than it is to go to the teacher for various reasons. Yeah. So it differs in the sense that it is by people who are of your age. So it means that they understand the issues that you're going through at that level because they're also going through them. So there's that ability of shared relatedness. And then it also differs in the sense that if we were to, it's different from them coming to us as counselors, because if they were to come to us as counselors, and I think I'd refer to the episode we talked about, what therapy is, where we need to, sign consent and then have goals and then go through a whole process. But here it's almost like psychological first aid, whereby if I'm not okay and you notice, you can ask me about it and we talk about it, and that in itself is a solution to it. So it doesn't leave the anyone with pressure to solve anyone's issues or to even walk a long-term journey as we would if it was counseling, in that there's a process we are following, but it's very here and now, like what I need here and now. Yeah.
Okay, so we know that the students in school have different challenges. So what are these challenges that these students are going through, and how can peer support really help them be able to solve those challenges?
First, the first problem I'd say is not having a sense of community. This means that the students, they may be facing a lot of stuff. They may be having things are very, very heavy on their chest, but they don't know who to run to. They don't know how to talk about them. They don't know how to initiate the conversation. So that by itself means that the students, they get to suffer more. They get to suffer more and more because they're not letting the stuff out of their chest, which brings in more problems. So as of the challenges, I don't know if you want me to pinpoint them one by one.
Just feel free.
Okay, so that being the major problem is not having the sense of community. I feel is the biggest challenge so far, because these students, they have a lot of stuff. Remember that these students are coming from low income households, low income neighborhoods. That means there's a challenge for getting food. There's the challenge of transport. There's challenge of GBV. Their parents are fighting. There's just a lot going on in their neighborhoods and their families, and then not having a space to talk about this, not having anybody to go and share about stuff that is very sensitive to you is the biggest problem. So you find that most of the students, they're suffering in silence because they don't have a safe space that they can go and talk about their problems too. And that is why we have really gone out there, tried as much as we can to offer a support system for them as counselors, and also to train their fellow students. This could be the people who are the most empathetic within the schools, so that in the event that you feel like you have a challenge, you can always run to them, and then they can be able to help you out, because sometimes our challenges are simply because we do not speak up, because once you speak about something ikutoke, you just feel a sigh of relief, It's like almost you're disassociating from the problem itself just by letting it out there. So that, I would say, that is the biggest challenge so far.
You've taken us to the part that the background, students are from different backgrounds. And I want us now to bring now the school involved, because you see peer, the mental peer support is really helping, or is happening mostly in school, right? So how are the schools really making a conversant background, or a conversant place for these children, regardless of their background, regardless of their identities?
I really appreciate the schools first, because the schools are the ones that gave us that opportunity in order for us to go and even offer the psychoeducation sessions. So that shows that the schools and the head of the schools really embraced the programs that we were doing in their schools. And part of what we've been doing, because we didn't even only deal with the students, but we brought on board some teachers. I believe maybe we might be able to talk about that later, but not now. So because the teachers gave us that opportunity, we were able to know some of the issues that the students were going through, and from that we were able to address those issues. And by doing that, the students they really felt safe that we were there. And for me, my part, I really appreciate the students because they were very open to us. So what the school is doing, part of the fact that they had to accept us in their school, it means that they embraced what we are doing, and they had seen that there is need for that. And I really appreciate them for that. So I would say that when it comes to what the school have done to help the children who are coming up from different backgrounds, and they are also facing a lot of challenges. Mtembei said part of it is community. Community would involve the school and even the family that these students are coming from. So the issues that we found to be very pressing are the family issues, and that's why we would really want if the heads of the schools would connect us to the parents, so that we are able to speak to the parents and address some of these concerns, not only from a school perspective, but even from a home environment, so that what we've been doing in school doesn't really rest at school, but is even taken at home, if it's possible, if it can be extended to the churches, because these students also go to church, and some of them are facing psychological issues, not only from school, but some of them are having issues at church. So for me, I really appreciate the school because they gave us that opportunity. It shows that they really care about their students.
And it's something that is important really for the students.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you guys have been showing us that why this is important, why we need to even equip our own students in schools as teachers out there. Why should we have peer-to-peer counselors? And I feel like already we have started answering that question. So I want us to think about this. Remember, you can always interact with us through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719 144 144. And if you need any psychological help, you can always call 0700 352 250, and our psychologist here will definitely answer your questions or also help you through when it comes to your mental health issues. So for now, let's take this short break and we'll be back with more. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show, and today we're speaking about mental health peer support in schools. Do you think that peer counselling really helped you in school? Please let us know through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719 144 144, and let us know also kama ilikusaidia ni nini ilifanya overcome, because it's awesome to always learn from each other and also to get to hear from you guys, right? So coming back to our conversations, we have spoken about now schools before the break. Na tumeambiwa vile schools really have been for the schools that you guys have gone to, they have really taken you guys in very, very well, right? And they already have seen that there's a need for mental health, right? So I want us now to see about schools now. How can they be able to encourage the students, to just continue participating in peer support in schools when it comes to mental health?
Thank you so much, Pesh. I think what I'll start by saying is to encourage the students, is to educate the students about the dangers of not speaking up. Because sometimes we feel like we are too strong, that we can handle everything on our own, which is not always the case. Sometimes you need an outsider's perspective just to come and tell you if you're being delusional or if you're actually being true. And encouraging the students to actively engage among themselves. This means that they're going to share views, they're going to share ideas, exchange ideas, and other opinions that they may have that they would not have been easily accessible to them. Case in point, let's say one of the students is undergoing through. Let's say one of the students has lost a parent, and there's another person in school who has suffered the same predicament. So you'll find that if these students approaches the other one who lost it, if the one who has gone through the same problem approaches the students who are suffering at the moment, they'll be able to share ways how they can cope, how they can deal with the emotions, how they can easily manage the stress, the anxiety, and the grief. So by the virtue of educating the students and encouraging them to offer support for each other means that there's going to be a sense of community. And they can do this by they can encourage the students to participate in such activities, let's say by giving examples of how it has helped somebody. If you can see how it has helped somebody, if you can see the benefits of something, you're more likely able to take on the approach. You're better equipped, you're better encouraged to indulge in the activity. This can be, let's say, the teachers they themselves sharing their experiences when it comes to peer support. They can just to make sure that the students see the benefits of it, and this, I feel, can be able to. It's a step. It's not going to get there because it also has to come from the students. The students needs to have initiative to actually participate, and you can't force them into it. Just by encouraging them, showing them how it works, showing them the benefits of it all is a nice way to encourage them to participate in peer support activities.
Wow, I think that is what the best things that the school can do, right? We are always told that in every good thing, akukosagi kibaya, right? Mm-hmm. What are the drawbacks now of peer support when it comes to students in school?
Right. I think the very first risk is that they may cause harm to their fellow students, either because of not knowing how to handle them, or also one of the issues that we found very rampant as we were doing the schools, there was this word gossip that had to come up in every school. Mm-hmm. And so one of the danger is that the students may not feel like they're safe, because if I tell Peninah, have I told the entire class to be, and then I'll hear it in Form 4 and then come back and hear it with the Form 1s, or will it just be that I've told Peninah and it's safe? Yeah, so that becomes one of the greatest risks, which is a thing we've had a lot of conversations with them about, even as we're psychoeducating them. One of the challenges we like to pose to them, especially in the area of friendships, which were one of the issues that they had, one of the areas that they had issues with, is, are you yourself the kind of friend that you'd like to have? And so the hope is that with that challenge, even as they're sitting down to listen to the problems from their friends, that they will remember that if it was me, I would like for it to be held in confidence and in trust, therefore I will do that for the other. Mm-hmm. But that definitely poses a risk. Another risk is the student may be free to share with a fellow student, but may feel like they are not able to share that information with a teacher or with a parent, and it may be such a serious case that the student cannot help without engaging an adult. So again, you see in that situation, it puts the peer student counselor at such a difficult position on how to help them. And it's a space that can put the student who's come to help in a space where they may feel hurt should this peer counselor go ahead and tell the teacher. But what we were encouraging them to do is to understand that they're not the ones to solve all the issues, and to be able to communicate that beforehand to the student. So when a student comes, you're able to tell them, I'm here to listen, I'm here to help, but there are issues that I cannot help with that I will have to engage na mtu mwenye anaweza tusaidia. So in that case, you engage the student, okay, if not Mr. So-and-so, then who can I take you? We go and tell, so that the student doesn't feel overwhelmed with certain information, because it can be a lot. Even for us, there are times we burnt out because they're like, oh God, the issues can be a lot, and they can be heavy and they can be draining, so that this student, peer support students, can also have a support system with the teachers, the guidance and counseling teachers, so that there's a system of safety. I think that's the biggest risk, but also the greatest asset, the aspect of safety. Yeah.
Okay, and I love that now we've gotten to also know the limitations, in which you have really put them well, because definitely you've given us a challenge and the solution with it. So thank you so much. Anyway, so we have seen that teachers are really important, right? So what is the role of teachers when it comes to peer support?
Okay, when it comes to teachers are, when the students go to school, teachers now they take most of them take up 2 roles of parenting and even teaching these students. So when it comes to them advocating for things such as the peer support, much of it will be let's say this guidance and counseling teacher, the role of that teacher will be maybe arrange activities that will promote children to come and share some of their concerns, and even ask them, or when you have something like a group therapy, and then you have your students there, some of them are sharing their issues without mentioning names, a matter they can just write, and then the teacher gets to understand the issue and ask the students how do you think we can help a student who is suffering from this and this situation. You see, that will promote the mental well-being of the children, in the case that a student may be able to raise an issue from that, and even give some of the ways in which you can handle such issues. I'll use an example. Maybe a child is finding it difficult to do their assignments at home, maybe because they are not getting the necessary help from the parent. So an example would be that, and then other students would be maybe they'll try and ask the child, do you have maybe an auntie or a big brother or a big sister who is in a position to help, so that it doesn't really have to be the parent who has to be very present in order for this child to do the homework, or even the neighbor, how is your neighborhood, how is your neighborhood, as in are your neighbors able to help you with some of these assignments, because bringing up a child is not an individual's whole responsibility, it's a whole collective responsibility that sometimes it even extends to the neighbors. So that when the teacher is encouraging this peer support, they'll be able to share some of maybe the challenges that the students are going through, even with the management. Because if you are a guidance and counseling teacher, these are some of the concerns that you usually get from the students. If it's coming from the parents, maybe a child is not being fed well at home. So you as the teacher can go to the administration and let the administration know, because the administration will act as the link between now this teacher and even the parents, and the parents will be able to help this child, or the administration and the teachers will be able to know why is this child not able to get the food? Are there any other available avenues that are set out there that can help the child to get the food? So when it comes to teachers, they have a whole lot of responsibility, and part of it is just accepting that the children need to be educated a lot when it comes to issues on mental health, and even they need to be encouraged, so that if a student shares their issues, kuna zile issues zenye utasema maybe sisi hatuna sabuni kwetu, then maybe a student will start laughing. So you as the teacher, you have that responsibility of even ensuring that discipline of your school iko sawa, and then at the end of the day ensuring that these students are behaving well. So you as the teacher, you have a bigger role when it comes to promoting the mental well-being of the student, and even sometimes like some of the teachers shared, like it's a whole parental teacher thing, which sometimes I feel it's very draining for them, because they feel like there is a gap between the way, there is a gap on how the students these days are being trained and how they are being taught by their parents.
Yeah.
So a teacher would be able to address that issue. Yeah.
Okay, so now we've gotten to understand why our teachers are important in school. And as you've heard from Valentine, amesema that the teachers are even taking parental roles in school. So if you're a parent out there, it's good to always check up on your children, to always know what is troubling them. Because, usually our teachers now become the new parents, because parents watakuja wapeleke watoto shule na waseme, okay, the school should do it all. But we should also be responsible. It's also our responsibility to take care of our own children, so that when they go to school, they may just go there to learn and to also have just quite a good place to be able to interact with their friends, right? So I believe, or I tend to believe that mental health, the peer support really complements therapy. So how does it do that?
Well, as Beula has said, the peer support is the first, is almost, as I would call it, the emotional first aid. This means it's there and then, which means that if an issue arises before you even consult the therapy, the peer support group is the first point of reference. This is the people who you run to. So, in as much as it's the emotional first aid, let's say in the event that somebody is suffering from an anxiety attack, you can just pick them and take them to the therapist. You just have to find out what's the problem. Maybe find out the triggers, find out what situation that may have triggered this response, and then once they are calm enough, now you can consult the therapist. So, in as much as when you say complementing, it's almost as an add-on. We first deal with the issues at hand, the very, 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 very sensitive issues at hand. Make sure that the person has calmed down. Make sure that you understand the situation, which is very necessary in the event where you actually consult the therapist or the school guidance and counseling teacher. Because if they're not in a position to speak out for themselves, at least you can tell them. You can tell the teacher, oh, this is what she had mentioned. This is what he had mentioned. To me, be on our way here. So it's not a complete activity on its own, but it helps lubricate the process of the therapy sessions in itself. It makes it easier because now there's also that feeling of a community. You get to feel that in as much as when the guidance and counselor is not in, at least I have my people who I can fall back on. I have my support system. I have people who actually understand the issues that I'm going through, because we are all also within the same age group. So yes, it is very, very, it's a good complement to the therapy sessions offered in schools.
So it complements well with the therapies and the mental psychological help given in school, right? So as we conclude these conversations, what are some of the strategies that you guys have been doing or out there also to evaluate the effectiveness of mental health peer support?
I'd say it sounds obvious, but ask them. Ask the students. They will be honest. They will tell you what is working, what is not, where do they need help. Yeah, so this can be done, directly. You bring them to a forum like we did, and we ask them what has worked, what has helped, what hasn't, and they were able to give us that feedback. Or you could also give them forms that are anonymous, should they feel like they're uncomfortable. You could, but I think what is of most importance is to keep that communication line going, to keep that engagement going, because as you check in with them, you're also observing, there are things that you don't need to be told, but your observation, does it match up to what they're saying? So if they're saying that it's helping, but you can see bado shida zenye walikuwa nazo, they're not coming to school, they're not performing well, there are a lot of discipline cases, then it raises question marks that something needs to change. Yeah, so ask them, but also observe them.
So how can really this feedback that B has told us really improve the support for these students?
I would say just like Beula said, once you get the feedback, you're able to know if maybe the method which you've been using in the schools to teach these students, if it's really helpful or you need to change the method. And also feedback would be able to tell you that maybe the topics, whether the topics that you've been teaching these students in schools, whether the children have really grasped the topic, or you really need to keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. Yeah, so feedback is very, very important. And for us, we were able to collect those feedbacks. And I believe with this, even as the students are opening school next term, we'll be able to know like whether what we have been doing is effective. And even as their teachers have come in, we've been able to note that, yeah, what we did in their schools was very beneficial to them, because some of them really spoke out that, yeah, they've noted some change in their students. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for giving us information. I keep on telling people that once you watch the Younib Breakfast Show, you are assured of education, information, and also some entertainment, right? And thank you so much, because you've given us information. Now we know how important peer support is to people, to ourselves, maybe even ourselves, actually, not really for students, but even to us as individuals. Like if I can go just speak to somebody who's of my own age group, they can be able to also help me be able to speak out my problems and feel heard. So thank you so much for that. And to everyone who has been making this show a success, thank you so much, the director of the show, Elias, Muchina, and to Daisy Kemboy for being behind the camera today. And it's because of you guys that we are having this show perfectly on TV for you. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for always giving us feedback. We are really, really appreciative of your feedback. Thank you so much, and do have yourselves a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye.